Have you ever felt misunderstood, like you're speaking a completely different language from the person right in front of you? It's frustrating, isn't it? That feeling of disconnection, of being unable to share your thoughts, your dreams, your warnings. What if I told you this wasn't just a personal feeling, but a deep, ancient echo of a time when all of humanity suddenly stopped understanding each other? This isn't just a story about languages. It's a story about ambition, power, and a single project that changed our world forever. This is the story of the Tower of Babel. Imagine a world not long after the Great Flood. Humanity is one big family, living together on a plain called Shinar. Everyone speaks the same language, shares the same culture, understands the same jokes. There are no us and them, there's only we. Think about the power in that. Every idea could be shared instantly, every plan executed with perfect unity. There was a sense of incredible potential, a feeling that anything was possible, and for a while, it was beautiful. They worked together, built their homes, and raised their families in harmony. The world was their oyster. But with great unity comes great ambition. One day, a new idea began to ripple through the community. It wasn't just about survival anymore, it was about legacy. Come, they said to one another, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly. They had discovered a new technology, a way to build stronger and taller than ever before. This wasn't just about building houses. This was about building a monument to themselves. Let's build ourselves a city. The idea grew, with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves and not be scattered over the face of the whole earth. Do you hear the shift? It started with unity, but now pride was creeping in. They weren't building to honor God or to create a better world for everyone. They were building to make a name for themselves. They were afraid of being scattered, of becoming insignificant. So they decided to build a structure so massive, so imposing, that it would be a permanent symbol of their greatness. A man-made mountain to rival the ones created by nature itself. The project began. The energy was electric. Imagine the scene. Thousands of people working in perfect sync. The sound of hammers, the chatter of workers, all in one tongue. The tower started to rise from the plains, a testament to human ingenuity. Day by day, it grew taller, casting a longer shadow with each passing sunset. It was a marvel of engineering. People would look up at it with awe, their chests swelling with pride. They were no longer just survivors of a flood. They were masters of their own destiny, creators of their own world. They were reaching for the heavens, literally. But as the tower climbed higher, something else began to happen. The focus shifted entirely to the project. It became an obsession. The goal was no longer just to build the tower, but to build it higher, faster. The conversations that once were about family and community were now only about quotas and progress. The spirit of unity began to morph into a spirit of competition. Who could lay bricks faster? Whose section was rising quicker? The pride was no longer communal, it was becoming individual. They were making a name for themselves, all right, but they were forgetting each other in the process. From a divine perspective, something was deeply wrong. God looked down and saw the city and the tower the people were building. He saw their incredible skill and their united effort, but he also saw their hearts. He saw that their ambition wasn't about creation, it was about exaltation. They wanted to reach the heavens not to be closer to God, but to be gods themselves. They wanted to control their own destiny, to ensure they would never be scattered. They were trying to build a world without God at its center, placing themselves there instead. This wasn't just architecture, this was an act of rebellion. And here's where the story takes its chilling twist. God didn't send a flood or fire. He didn't strike the tower with lightning. The punishment was far more subtle and far more profound. He said, if as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their language so they will not understand each other. Imagine you're a worker high up on the scaffolding. The sun is beating down. You shout to your friend below, hey, pass me another brick. Simple, right? You've said it 1,000 times. But this time, your friend just stares at you with a blank expression. He frowns, shakes his head, and shouts back something that sounds like complete gibberish. You get frustrated, you shout again, louder this time, pointing at the bricks. He just looks more confused and more agitated. He points back at you, speaking in his new, alien tongue. Panic begins to set in. It's not just one person, it's everyone. The foreman's instructions are nonsense. The architect's plans are indecipherable. The language that had been the bedrock of their unity, the tool of their incredible success, was now a source of chaos. Communication broke down. Trust evaporated. The man you worked beside yesterday, who you shared meals with, is now a stranger. His words are meaningless sounds. Is he insulting you? Is he warning you? You have no idea. Fear turned to anger. Frustration turned to suspicion. Fights broke out. The perfect harmony of the construction site descended into a cacophony of confused and angry shouts. The project ground to a halt. How can you build a tower when you can't even ask for a hammer? The very thing they were building to unite them and make them famous became the symbol of their division. The tower, once a beacon of their pride, now stood as a monument to their failure. The dream was over. Defeated and confused, the people abandoned the project. They stopped building their city, and then, the very thing they feared most came to pass. They were scattered. They began to wander away from the half-finished tower, seeking out others who, by some miracle, spoke the same new language as them. Small groups broke off, finding they could understand each other, but not the group next to them. And so, humanity, which was once one, was scattered over the face of the whole earth, separated by the invisible walls of language. The city was named Babel, which means confusion, because that is where the Lord confused the language of the whole world. This story isn't just an ancient myth about the origin of different languages. It's a powerful lesson about the human condition. It's a warning about pride. The people of Babel had a gift, the gift of unity. But they used it to glorify themselves instead of for a greater good. They sought to control their destiny and make a name for themselves, and in doing so, they lost everything. Their quest for ultimate connection led to ultimate disconnection. Think about our world today. We have the internet, global communication, translation apps. In many ways, we are trying to rebuild the Tower of Babel. We are trying to create a world where everyone is connected, where information is instant. But what is the motivation behind our modern towers? Are we building to connect and understand each other on a deeper level? Or are we just building to make a name for ourselves, to amass followers, to build our own digital kingdoms? Are we using our incredible tools for unity? Or are they, ironically, making us feel more isolated and misunderstood than ever? The story of Babel reminds us that true unity doesn't come from a shared language or a shared project. It comes from a shared humility. It comes from recognizing that we are not the center of the universe. When we put our own pride and our own glory first, we are destined to end up in confusion and isolation, just like the builders of that ancient tower. The ultimate irony is that their attempt to stay together is the very thing that forced them apart. So the next time you feel misunderstood, or you can't seem to connect with someone, remember the Tower of Babel. Remember that the deepest connections are not built with bricks and mortar, or even with words. They are built with humility, with empathy, and with a shared sense of purpose that is bigger than ourselves. The story teaches us that in reaching for the heavens out of pride, we risk losing our connection to each other right here on Earth. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What are the towers we are building today? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that explore the deep truths of our shared human experience. See you next time.